So hello and welcome to 12 noon live. And of course, India suffered yet another defeat in Manchester this time in the second T20I, courtesy of a brilliant knock by Jacob Bethel. We'll talk about that game, and of course, Shreyas Iyer's captaincy has gone off to a rocky start. If you count out his IPL games, also in the last 9 or 10 matches, he has won only one. So that is something to talk about, and his start as the Indian captain has he's yet to win a match, and that is something which is being talked about on social media. If you compare him to Surya Kumar Yadav's captaincy stint, then Surya Kumar Yadav and Gautam Gambhir, the Indian team did not lose a single bilateral series. But here also in England, if they lose one more, then they can't win this series as well. I'll go to Shamikta straight away to talk about yesterday's match. Of course, a lot of talking points. Siraj Bautule's role, Ravi Bishnoi's those three no balls. Shreyas Iyer's post-match comments are also going viral, where he said, don't want to point out to a single person, but we all know where things went wrong." So that is also being talked about a lot. So Shamika, I'll start with you. What do you think went wrong for Indian team, and was that the Ravi Bishnoi over which changed everything for the Indian team?
Of course, that changed for the Indian team, changed everything for the Indian team. But I'm little surprised that now we have a specialist spin bowling coach. This is about giving attention to details. I mean, a spin bowlers the return crease for fun, free backfoot no balls at this level, and these are the things you sort out at the nets. And he has been prone to this. I was reading a quick info stats, and Ravi Vishnai has done this 9 times since 2022. So when you and someone who is there in the Indian team setup, these are no excuses. IPL also, I mean, he was not a top grad, just played 9 matches for Rajasthan Royals. So in the first place, how is in the Indian team? I have a question mark on that. How come he is in the Indian team? But I think the Indian team looked at the matchups and England's traditional weakness against leg spin. That's why he has picked for both the games so far. First T20I that was washed out, and yesterday also. But obviously, but once again, these are the things. Um, you can criticize the coach. You can criticize the coaches, obviously, but we are talking about the Indian team here. It's not age group, so it is the responsibility is squarely down to the players, to the player also, and this shouldn't have happened at this level. This shouldn't have happened, and that yes, that was the over. 19 runs in 3 balls when the game was very tight. Obviously, that tilted the balance in England's favor.
Bharat, we have talked about it a lot of times in the past as well, whether those were Arshdeep Singh's wides in crucial phases. Now Ravi Bishnoi's no ball. Giving extras has somewhat become a routine for Indian bowlers in crunch phases. Do you think that is somewhere the coaching staff need to work more on? Because these players are no longer new to the setup. Ravi Bishnoi has been in the setup for a while now. He was in the past the number one T20I bowler before getting dropped from the team. Then again, he has been in the setup for a while now. Do you think this is a problem which comes from the nets, where the bowlers, the senior bowlers especially, they don't try to use that popping crease that much, and use it as an invisible crease out there at the nets?
See, when it comes to Ravi Bishnoi, I guess he's someone who has that kind of zigzag run up. Somewhere, maybe that is a problem with him because even if you look at the back crease, I think he will cut the back crease a little bit with that kind of run up. So I think it goes just beyond the coaching staff of the Indian team. Maybe Ravi Bishnoi has to look at his run up, tweak it a little bit. Uh, that could be related to his childhood coach or whoever it is who helped him to get to this level. Because I think the problem is with that run up itself, if it has to be in relation to cutting the back crease. Yes, but on an overall basis, I guess you have to look at that factor as well. Because in the next session, if you get to run up right, then obviously you will also get it right in the middle. Yes, you may argue that with regard to net sessions, it's not exactly a simulation for what exactly you go and do in the middle, because the intensity levels when you bowl in a competitive match is much higher than the kind of intensity levels that you would go through in a net session. But having said that, it's something that for the coaching staff to look at, for the players themselves to look at. If they are very serious of not overstepping, I'm looking at the other side of no ball. If they're very serious of not overstepping, if they're serious of not bowling those wides down the leg side, then I guess in the middle as well in a competitive match will be fine. Only way you can kind of support Arshdeep Singh is these days you tend to bowl wider and wider of off because the batters are going after you all the time in T20 cricket. So when you go wide of off stump, sometimes even if you practice very hard in a net session, in that kind of pressure cooker situation in a competitive match, you might end up bowling a few wides. I understand from that perspective as well, because it's not at all easy in the modern day world in T20 cricket where the pressure on a bowler to not get hit for a six in a slog overs is so high that even the best of bowlers tend to bowl those wides. For example, Sam Curran, I think, is a pretty good bowler in slog overs. May not be in the power play, but in the slog overs, he's a pretty good bowler. Yesterday, he too bowled a few wides. So from that perspective, I understand. But still, it's something that in net sessions you can kind of, if you take your game very seriously, you can kind of eradicate that kind of a problem.
Yes, Amita.
Shubhan, sorry, I just missed a point. If you look at Ravi Bishnoi off late in his run up, especially at the time of loading, he has brought in that jump and he always had that diagonal run up. But what is happening off late with that jump, he's getting even wider of the crease. And he's always at risk to cut that return crease. It is obviously down to the IPL because IPL has been pushing all the spinners. It's not only Ravi Vishnu, IPL and basically those flat pitches has been pushing all the spinners to limit, and they are trying to come up with some antidotes. And Ravi Vishnu obviously done that. So this is one thing. He has always been prone to cutting that return crease, and with that new loading mechanics, the I mean the risk factor has increased, and therein comes the support stuff, the role of the support stuff. Now you have a host of support staff with the team to address such issues. So I would expect, if it is, it should have been addressed earlier, but I would expect this would be taken care of going ahead at the nets.
Yeah, especially cutting the side crease is something which is completely unacceptable for any bowler in top level cricket. You can overstep, of course. Stepping can happen, but side crease no ball is something which is deemed very not okay for any bowler, let alone Ravi Bishnoi. Shrishti, what are your thoughts on Bishnoi? The last time he played for India against New Zealand in Visakhapatnam. He was also expensive. They conceded almost 50 runs there, and yesterday 60 runs. So your thoughts on Ravi Bishnoi before we move on to different topics?
Yes, see, Ravi Bishnoi, yesterday also we were having a conversation. If you want a spinner, because again, the weapon for Indian team in the T20 eyes, which I have seen, is spin, because Indian team is very good with their spin and the spin bowlers. But the thing is, if you only wanted spin, why not you bring in Kuldeep Yadav in? Yeah, he's not in the squad. I'm talking about the squad only. That why not you bring Kuldeep Yadav in the squad? Why was he not there? No disrespect to Bishnu, he got a decent kind of IPL. I would say the match against KKR, he did a very good job. After that, he was getting less games, but yeah, he did a decent job. But apart from that, Kuldeep Yadav is a player, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. 8 years back, he took a fifer in Old Trafford only, which I remember. So why won't you play the player who did a good job earlier in this particular stadium? And also, he is more and more experienced. He's a bowler. Whenever I talk about Kuldeep Yadav, I always state one statement that Kuldeep is not a player जो pitch के मोहताज हो. He is not a player who will say कि oh this pitch was
Bishnoi
that,
is
that
Bishnoi is
was
fifer in
this.
Manchester.
No. Kuldeep, eight
Kuldeep
years
Yadav.
back, which
Okay,
I
okay.
remember. Kuldeep, yeah, no, not Vishnu. Yeah. So again, though the thing is, if you want to win matches, first things first, you need experience. And apart from that, why not bring in the player who has played there earlier also, who did a good job playing in Old Trafford, and also who is a like key player for Team India, one of the world's best spinner alongside Varun Chakravarti. So why won't you
Mm.
play that guy? Why won't you bring him in the squad? Bishnoi, yesterday also we were talking, and in fact, in the live also, the 5 p.m. show, when I was talking to Rohit Bhai, he was also the same that spinners maybe they can give a chance to Suryan Shetty because he batted in the nets. So maybe I think Bishnoi would be the guy who will be sitting outside. But again, when the 11 was announced, Bishnoi was there, and he gave three no balls. The jump which Shamik Da was stating, because of the jump, the first no ball was because of the jump only. His leg was touching the line. So the thing is, you need to know what kind of combination you have to play. What are the combination which are required in the particular conditions, because it's been, I think, more than how many, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Indian team is there in the Ireland and England, and they should be acclimatized throughout the conditions till now. They should have been, but again, I don't feel that they have acclimatized yet.
Can I just add one point? Just one point
Yes,
about
Bharat.
Kuldeep Yadav. I can understand from selectors' point of view because Kuldeep Yadav was a great bowler. I don't think he's a great bowler somewhere in 2026 because in the world of IPL, he also went for a lot of runs, averaged 40, took only 10 wickets in 12 IPL games. I don't think he has been at his best over the last month. So from one side, I can understand to an extent as to why they didn't go for Kuldeep Yadav. It also tells something about the paucity of spinners coming through the ranks in white ball cricket. Because who else is there? Maybe you're looking at young Yashraj Punja, but Yashraj Punja himself is very, very inexperienced, although a very tall spinner, though he gets some bounce, but he's still very inexperienced. So I think they had to kind of go for Bishnoi, who I believe is very much a limited spinner in the sense that he mostly bowls that googly. There could be that odd non-turning delivery that kind of goes straight on the skidder. And in the 2026 IPL, I saw him bowl a couple of leg breaks. That's as most as you could get with someone like Bishnoi when it comes to bowling the leg breaks. So yes, he's a limited spinner. But having said that, I understand from selectors' point of view as to why they couldn't go for Kuldeep Yadav because he's kind of struggled. You have also seen, you have covered a few games in the recent past where Kuldeep Yadav has struggled to get it right, not just in T20 cricket but also in Test cricket. That is why I think he didn't get in.
Fair enough, fair enough. And yeah, Kuldeep's intensity was also pretty down in the Afghanistan series, be it the Test match or the white ball series. He was not looking the same Kuldeep Yadav as he looked a couple of years ago. But Shamikta, Shreyas Iyer, let's come to him. New captain, off to a rocky start, yet to win a match. There will be pressure on him. He would be desperate to at least get things going with a win in the next game in Nottingham. If you count out his IPL matches, also the last phase of IPL did not go in Punjab Kings' favor, in Shreyas Iyer's favor, and I think that would also be piling up somewhere deep in his mind that why he's not able to win matches for his teams, be it Punjab or be it now the Indian team. Plus with the bat also, with the bat, I think he has been doing fine in the last 2-3 knocks. But again, overall, if you how would you rate Shreyas Iyer's start as India captain, T20I captain?
I mean, too early to judge, Shubhan. Just 3 matches are a very small sample size because any new captain needs time to implement his ideas, implement his philosophy. It didn't happen with Surya Kumar Yadav when he took over from Rohit Sharma because Surya was Rohit too. He didn't change anything. He just stuck to the template that Rohit had set, and that worked wonders for the Indian team. And he was unbeaten. He didn't lose a single bilateral series and went on to win the World Cup. It was like, if I may draw a football analogy, it was like Arne Slot's first season taking over from Jurgen Klopp and not changing anything and ending up with winning the title. And in second season, as soon as he tried to change, he ended up being sacked. So Surya will always be under pressure. India captain is always under pressure, and you have taken over from a World Cup winning captain. Whatever it is, there was stability. But again, it is a fresh start with just 3 matches. India had no business losing to Ireland, losing a T20 series to Ireland. But at other end,
Yeah, I
India
mean,
can
things can escalate in Indian cricket very quickly, Shamikda. If they lose,
exactly.
want to
That's
lose
why
this
that's
England series also,
Yeah,
then
that's
you
why he
never
has
know.
been appointed until the Asian Games. I mean, I don't know where is people. I mean, nobody has ever mentioned that he has been given the charge until the next World Cup. I attended that press conference and never ever. Why will they do that? It has never happened in Indian cricket. In Indian cricket, what happens? A captain is appointed on a series to series basis, and if he does well, he gets a rolling contract. His captaincy tenure gets extended. Now, this time they have taken sort of a detour and appointed him until the Asian Games because they also, I think the selectors also felt a new captain coming in with his new philosophy and someone who was not even part of India's World Cup winning squad. So he needs a little bit of time for that bedding in period. So until Asian Games, and they will judge him until after the Asian Games. So obviously, if they don't win, if India don't win at Nottingham, that would be four. And you have to keep in mind the fact that T20 was the only format India had been winning. Test cricket, we were suffering whitewashes, home whitewashes for fun. ODI series, we have lost in Australia. We lost in Australia. We lost to a second string New Zealand side at home. So T20 was the only format where India were winning. Now we have lost three on the spin. If it is four, if it is five, obviously pressure will mount. Obviously pressure will mount. But I think still it is very, very early days as far as Shreyas' captaincy is concerned, and we should judge him only after the Asian Games.
Bharat, will you give that rope to Shreyas Iyer, or will you think, would you say no, he has to deliver after taking over a champion side? That the team has not changed a lot. It is the same set of players. It is not a transitional side in this format. How would you give? What would you give Shreyas Iyer? A longer rope, or will you be there to scrutinize every movement of the Indian captain?
See, it's about Shreyas Iyer, right? Because your voice is
Yes.
cutting. Uh, yeah. See, Shreyas Iyer, the problem with Shreyas Iyer is that, see, they brought Shreyas Iyer as a captain when he was out of the setup for a while, for maybe 2 years, 3 years in T20 Is. So what happens basically is if a team loses a game or two, then the scrutiny on such a cricketer would be a lot more. And that's what exactly has happened with someone like Shreyas Iyer. India have lost, unfortunately, from his point of view, they have lost 3 games, and that means the scrutiny would be a lot more. People would be saying he was out of the setup for some 2 years, 3 years, and suddenly you have made him the captain. Finally, a captain is as good or as bad as the team that you have. If the team doesn't execute, then the captain is someone who can't do much. He doesn't have a magic wand. So I think that is the problem. Somewhere it goes back to the selectors. Yes, Shreyas Iyer is a pretty good skipper. I've heard that he's very much someone who's a motivational speaker from certain cricketers that I've interviewed. But still, captain is as good or as bad as the team. So the selectors, I guess, could have got Shreyas Iyer as a player in the squad, and then if he had proved himself as a player in T20Is, then they could have made him the captain. So, but we are again looking at it in hindsight. So going forward, yes, Shai Iyer has to deliver. He has to perform well with the bat. Obviously, he scored a 50 in the first game. The second game, he looked in decent touch, but he needs a couple of what can I say impactful knocks that would kind of silence the critics, and more importantly, India have to win. Tactically, you can say that he has made a few mistakes, not just in the second T20I, even in the world of IPL. I couldn't understand why he had so much faith in Marcus Stoinis as a bowler for so long. Finally, I think he stopped using him somewhere in the 2026 IPL after again went for a lot of runs in a couple of matches. And yesterday, we can say it in hindsight that somewhere in between Shivam Dubey should have bowled 1 hour or 2 overs. But again, there is something that comes into consideration as a hindsight factor. In that sense, Ravi Vishnoy won't have bowled at 17th over. It's very risky to use a leg spinner. Obviously, googly bowler in the 17th over, spinner in the 17th over. That was, I think, a little bit of a tactical mistake. But captain can't do much if a team is not executing its plans. A captain really can't do much. I would say that selectors made a small mistake out there by making him the captain after him being out of the T20I setup for close to 3 years. when a team starts losing, people will always tell this guy was out of the setup for 3 years, and why did you make him straight away the captain instead of getting him into the squad? And then, if he had proved himself, he could have been the captain.
Fair enough. Shrishti, your thoughts on Shreyas Iyer?
I hope I'm audible because there's some
Yes, yes,
issues.
you are.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, see, regarding Shreyas Iyer, like again, I will not judge him this early because he just received the captaincy, he just started off, so I'll not judge. But yeah, like when Shreyas Iyer became the Indian team captain, if you ask me, I had very high expectations looking at the IPL. Looking at the IPL, the way he was there in the IPL, a team like Punjab Kings, no disrespect, again, I'll repeat, no disrespect to Punjab Kings, but that team was full of uncapped players, full of inexperience, and despite that, Shreyas Iyer was the guy who took that team to the finals. 2026 is different, but a captain winning the IPL in 2020, then the same captain going to the finals with Punjab Kings. So I think that's a very, very big deal because you can't expect these things from more players. The kind of aura, the kind of performance Shreyas Iyer was carrying forward, I had very high expectations. I won't say that, okay, like he was not up to the mark, he was not up to the expectations, but I think there are many decisions I think, which should be talked about. There are many decisions we were talking about yesterday also. That the bowling changes. If Ravi Bishnoi was getting hit for runs, why not try a Shivam Dube? Like again, like he's not Shivam Dube is no Hardik Pandya, but why not try? Just give it a try. Max to max, if Bishnoi was getting hit for 27 runs, he will get hit for 20 runs, 15 runs, something like that. So there are things, and I think many people would disagree, but I think he is under a bit of pressure because when you're captaining a team like India and you came in place of Suryakumar Yadav, who was the World Cup winning captain. Okay, he was not scoring runs and many scrutiny, many things were against him, but he was still the World Cup winning captain, right? He just won the World Cup in March and you came in his place. So filling those shoes are not easy. People think it's very easy, it's all rosy out there. It's not. Leading Indian team in any format. Shubman Gill won the first ODI series while captaining India against Afghanistan. He lost against Australia after that, the next spasm, the injury issue, and again, the New Zealand series was also there. So he won the first series against Afghanistan right now before this T20I series. So if he is also getting a long rope, which he deserves, then Shreyas Iyer also deserves a long rope. I think till the 2028, which the management is talking about, he should get chances. But yeah, if India fails to win that World Cup or fails to qualify for the semi-finals, then I think we will talk about it that okay, from 24, 26, then 28, you are not qualifying.
28 is a long way to go. This is
Yes, I know. But yeah, you can give a longer rope. I think uh, Shubhan has some network issue. Yeah,
I
I
think
think
yeah,
so.
he
So
has a power cut issue. Srishti,
power cut. Okay.
you sort of take over and
Okay.
sort of close the show.
yeah.
No,
Yes,
I
I
think
think
he's
I'm
back.
back. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he is back.
Just,
Yeah, yeah,
just, just load shedding.
Yes.
Last couple of
yeah.
questions in the show. Shamikta, Vaibhav Suryavanshi finally got his debut. Enjoyed that small cameo and that six of Chopra Archer. People are all over the place talking about that.
Shubhan, unfortunately, I couldn't watch his knock because I was coming back from
Okay.
the BKC from an
Okay.
assignment, and it has been raining non-stop, relentless for over the last
Mhm.
5 days. The rain situation is terrible in Bombay. I mean, with water logging, I mean, trees have been falling for fun. People have died, so everything. So I couldn't do. But the fact of the matter is that he has been given a debut, and we predicted that
Mm.
irrespective of Morning Mortal. I wrote a copy yesterday also, irrespective of Morning Mortal's pre-match press conference. Now they have given him the debut. He will get the next 3 matches also, and we will judge Vaibhav Suryavanshi at the end of the series, obviously. And what I like about that kid is that the very first ball he faced, he was beaten all ends up completely. He was beaten all ends up. From that international cricket and such a young age, he's making that his senior international debut. From that, coming back and showing that and hitting those two sixes, it spoke volumes for resilience of his. I mean, that he is a strong character. That just showed he is a strong character, because otherwise, I mean, lesser mortal or a lesser talent could have frozen. I mean, could have got frozen in that circumstances. That didn't happen. So he showed that courage, and which suggests this boy is a strong character, and also so I mean the way he has started is just only the first game. Too premature to judge him in international cricket. After the series, obviously we will judge him.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Too early to judge him in any aspect of his international career right now. But Bharat, did you enjoy his short cameo?
Yeah, obviously you expected Vaibhav Suryavanshi to get off the mark with a six international cricket. That was something that was obvious. He always, I think it's in his mind. He decides that I have to get off the mark with a six. That's what happened in the world of IPL as well, and that's what happened in the world of international cricket as well. To add a little bit of spice, add a little bit of spice to it. Obviously, it was his Rajasthan Royals teammate was hit for a six there, and then he smashed Joe Stung for a six, a slower ball. I don't know why exactly he used that slower ball because he was cramping up the batter with back of length, hard length. But those two sixes were pretty good, and then I guess he got a little too excited, came down the track, gave that little bit of clue for Will Jacks. If you notice, Will Jacks has that kind of a start, stop, start action. Not exactly like Usman Tariq, but still he has that kind of start, stop, start action where he kind of stops in the middle and then he completes his action. I think that is what helped him to get that little bit of clue that Vaibhav Suryavanshi is coming down the track too early and he was stumped. But it's something that we expected with Vaibhav Suryavanshi. He will try a lot of shots. Though if he had not been instinctive, he could have understood that Will Jacks is the kind of bowler because of his action, stop start action. It's not so easy to come down the track to him because you can see you coming down the track a little early. But he's very much a 15-year-old kid. This Saban, I don't think he thinks so much that whether I have to go after this bowler, whether I have to come down the track, whether I have to play off the back foot. Just let him enjoy his game. Hopefully, we'll get two, three more opportunities. And I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line in the series itself, or maybe somewhere in the near future, maybe in the next series, he will play an impactful knock. There's absolutely no doubt about his skills because, as I have noted many times, just like a broken tape recorder, that if someone can smash a hard line ball that's ball at 153 kilometers per hour back over the bowler's head, then there is absolutely no doubt about his skill or potential. It is just a matter of time somewhere when he gets going, when some of those shots that he plays in the air, it comes off, then I'm pretty sure he will get that 60 of 25 or 70 of 25 and win a match for India. Hopefully, it would be in this series because India needs one kind of that kind of a game-breaking innings, that kind of an innings which will change the complexion of the game because India are already 1-0 behind, and as you know, they lost that series in Ireland.
Yeah, if Abhishek and Suryavanshi can get going together, uh, I am not sure what is the kind of total India can achieve on that particular day. Let's see, let's see, let's hope that day will come on in Nottingham. The next T20I day after tomorrow. We will give you all the coverage. Today is the Women's T20 World Cup final as well. So Trisha and Stashish will give you the coverage regarding that before moving on to the one-off test of the women's team, and the men's series will continue. The coverage will continue. You'll get a lot more practice updates and everything from England, from Rohit and Amit Shah from tomorrow onwards. So stay tuned to Rep Sports and like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you so much for watching for now.